Welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. I'm your host, Mari Riesberg. Over the past several years, I've combined my degrees in acting and somatic psychology to share my sustaining creativity techniques with performers. And now I've decided to share it with a bigger audience that includes you. I believe we are all creative, and this podcast is all about that. I'll be interviewing people from all backgrounds, ages, and creativity experiences to share just how creative we all are. Today, I'll be chatting with Theresa Walker, professional musical theater performer, renowned wedding makeup artist, licensed insurance agent, gold leader for the Body Shop at Home direct sales company, and most recently, Theresa completed her training to become a facilitator for the Paradox process. Please enjoy Theresa Walker. So welcome to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. Today I am here with Theresa Walker. I'm super excited. She has such a breadth and depth of experience in creativity and life, and I can't wait to hear more about all of the fun things that you have going on. So welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. And thank you for having me. I am very, very excited to be here.
You are so welcome. We are excited to have you. And maybe if you wouldn't mind just taking a couple minutes and letting our listeners know a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. So like you, I have a background in musical theater. I got my degree in vocal performance specifically, because I actually was like, I'm not going to college. I'm just going to perform. And then my parents were like, no, you're not. So they were smart, and I got a bachelor's in vocal performance. And on the side, I moonlight as a wedding makeup artist. So that's just another creative outlet. As you know, we like to have many as artists. And so I'm pretty well known in the central Pennsylvania area where I live currently for my wedding makeup. And then most recently, I have started, and I will be sitting for my exam in the Paradox process, which is an emotional technology to help people manage their emotions. So that's what I'm currently fixed on. But ask me again in 6 months and it will be different.
I love it. I mean, so many different things, different avenues, and yet finding creativity in all of them. It sounds like such an exciting experience. And yeah, I'm so excited for you to sit for this exam and be able to take the Paradox process a little further and a little deeper. And maybe you could share a little bit about the Paradox process for listeners who might not know what it is.
I would love to. And many people do not know. What it is and how I happened upon it. First of all, how I happened upon it, my sister, she's been on Broadway a number of times. She was in New York. Well, they left because of COVID. Thanks, COVID. But she was in New York, and kind of Thomas Jones, who founded and created the Paradox process, he's kind of the Broadway star secret weapon in a way. He's very good at helping people manifest the life that they want and get clear and objective about their goals. And he created this process. So my sister went to him for basically to be a counselor and a guide and a therapeutic assistant to her goal making. And I've struggled with panic attacks my whole life. And I was going through, they kind of ebb and flow sometimes. So I was going through sort of a difficult patch a couple of years ago. She said, you should really go see Thomas. He teaches this emotional technology. It's very, very much based in cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's very much based in mindful meditation. And he can kind of help you regain control and take back the reins of your own brain. So that's how I happened upon it. It completely changed my life. And then I was like, one day mid quarantine, I said, Thomas, do you teach? Can I get certified to do this? And he said, absolutely. So 6 months later, here we are. And what it is in as small a nutshell as I possibly can muster, is a technology or an emotional support tool that sort of looks at the brain as a hard drive or a computer. And
Mhm.
it's a series of keys that you can implement based on the situation or the emotion or whatever charge is going on internally, that you can call forth and use the keys and use the exercises to kind of ground yourself, to take your power back, to get clear and objective, to remove an emotional charge from, say, a stressful situation, overwhelming emotions, painful interaction,
Mhm.
past trauma, whatever it is, big or small, to get you grounded, focused, create that sort of observer position in the mind and get clear and objective and not letting your emotions run your whole life, which is sounds great, right?
Yeah,
That's
sounds
the goal.
fantastic.
That's the goal, baby. So that's what we
Mhm.
do. We get people clear. We help them gain insights into their own life, and so they can take their power back and start making the magic happen, basically.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
That's what we,
amazing.
yeah, that's what it is. So,
Wonderful. Well, I am super excited that you are being trained. And is there a certification that you
yeah,
earn?
I mean,
Okay.
I'm doing, well, I already got them because I'm type A overachiever. I had to get 50 hours in. So
Mhm.
I've worked, I have people, I started a little free group during quarantine as I was learning everything.
Mhm.
And I would just work with everybody once a week. And then more people came and more people came. And then everybody said, "Oh, you need hours? Work with me alone. Work with me alone." Now I have 15 hours a week. And I was like, guys, I'm not yet getting paid to do this, so I gotta pump the brakes. And I love you
Right.
all, but so I'm like doing 15 hours a week, working in sessions one on one with people on this technology. But um, yeah, so
Well,
right
that's
now
super
it's
exciting. And
great, great.
once you get credentialed and all of that, you've got your own little business up and running
Exactly.
already. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah, yeah. So it's sort of like a hybrid life coach slash therapeutic meditative modality hybrid. So it's
Nice.
fun to guide people through, and it's really fun when you've impacted a change and helped them to see the light.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it sounds like something really accessible to people and that may feel a little easier than going to a traditional therapist.
Yeah,
Not to
it
say that people shouldn't also go to a traditional therapist. I would be remiss if I didn't say that being a therapist, but
correct,
it's
correct.
an easier entry for some.
Yes, it's an alternative modality, and it may speak to some, but it does also directly deal with your ego wanting to sabotage. And sometimes that's hard for people to take. So some people back off and they go, "Oh, I don't like what I saw in myself just now." And you go, "Okay, well,
Yeah.
we'll take a step back. We'll relax a little bit." And, you know, it's really a collaborative effort, which I like. But yeah, there's something for everyone. And now it's just learning how to get people the most out of each thing. And yes, as a recipient of regular therapy as well, also helpful. And you being a therapist, yes,
Yes.
definitely also important. They all
Totally.
they all work together. Yeah.
Exactly. Nice. And now people know a little bit more and they can do a little more research, and we'll put all the links, etc., in the show notes. So
Yes, totally. Yep. And yeah, I hate that there's a stigma attached to therapy at all. And
yeah.
um this still makes people scared. People get afraid all the time. They're like, "Oh, you said therapeutic. It's therapeutic. That means something's wrong with me." You're like, "No,
Mhm.
that means you're a human in the world and you interact with other humans and it makes you emotional." That's what that means.
Totally. And the more we talk about it, the less the stigma continues to be attached to
Yeah.
emotions and to people managing and experiencing emotions. So
Yep.
I think it's really important that we do talk about it and we try it and get the support that we need. Everyone could benefit from talking to an objective third party,
Yes, literally. That's what I say.
non-judgmental. Yeah.
If you're a human in the world and you interact, unless you're a hermit living on a mountain, you can
Mhm.
benefit from all of all of this. We need an objective third party, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. And the more we talk about mental health and the more assistance and avenues and options we have to help people with mental health, the less of all this other nonsense and all these other problems we're going to have. So
absolutely. I 100% agree. And
yeah,
we could probably talk about mental health and therapy for the rest of our time
for the
together,
whole
but the
time.
whole episode.
But
However, let's
back to the
back
title
to
of your podcast.
creativity. Yeah. So when you think about creativity, what does it mean to you to be creative?
To me, creativity means having an outlet that is equal parts give and receive, that you are giving something to somebody else and you are also filling up your own pail of with pebbles, that old
Yeah.
analogy. Like, make sure that your pail is full before you go filling other people's. Don't deplete yourself.
Mhm.
Creativity to me is an equal exchange of both things, where you get something emotionally and so do they. That's why I think we like performing. The applause are nice, but it's comforting to know, to look out in the audience and see someone smile and you realize that you help them forget about their problems, and that
Yeah.
gives you something and that gives them something. For me, wedding makeup does the same thing. I make these people feel beautiful. I make them feel confident. I think people are obviously beautiful without it, but it's just, I try to accentuate in that avenue
Mhm.
all of the things that are naturally gorgeous about them and bring them forth, not cover it up, just accentuate it so that they feel like they're best. And then it's gratifying for me. I feel fulfilled having made someone feel good. And then now with the paradox process, the same thing.
Mhm.
So now I'm also an insurance license and
Oh.
insurance agent, and I don't like that because there is not really much creativity going on. So I'm kind of saying goodbye to that. I'm holding on to my license just to have it, but it's not quite fulfilling in a creative way. It's very challenging to find a creative outlet in the insurance industry. So
I can appreciate that. Yes, I work within the insurance field in the addiction recovery agency that I
right.
work with. So I can
Yeah.
understand that. But it just sounds like there's that reciprocity, that give and take, the
Yeah.
being willing to acknowledge I need to keep myself creatively filled to support or to share that with others. And then in turn, when I share it, I get it. I receive it back
Exactly.
from other people. So what a
And
beautiful little image of
thank
kind of
you.
like it reminds me of like watching waves on the ocean, when the
Yep.
wave comes and says hello to the sand and then goes away and comes back. And yeah.
Exactly. And it's dangerous when we wash ourselves ashore too much, or we retreat too much, and then there's an imbalance. And I feel like that's what you're trying to do is, in sustaining that, how do you keep that healthy exchange going? Because in performing especially, you can give and give and give, and you can feel very, very, very depleted. But you can do that in everything. And how to find balance is a constant pivoting of your mindset, and a constant reevaluating and constant evolution. So especially in
Absolutely.
2020.
Yes. Oh my gosh. But I love that word balance. I think it's so important for us to find it and really honor it, that we, in our work, in our play, in our life, that we are able to find some balance that continues to fill and fuel us.
Yeah, yeah. And it's not elusive, and it can be done. And I think the largest thing standing in the way really is people's ego self saying, oh,
Mhm.
this is going to be hard. Balance is hard. or
Mhm.
or when it comes to you, they go, I'm not willing or ready to receive that, so I'm just going to sabotage myself because that's easier than
Sure. Or that's
I'm
familiar, that's more
yep.
comfortable to live in that
Yep.
space. Yeah.
Like, I'm used to that, instead of finding a new way. If you're feeling depleted, it's not working for you, and it's time to find a new way. Or if you're
Absolutely.
feeling creatively fried, it's time to find a new way. Let's find another way to manage this. Yeah.
Yes, yes. And that leads me right into my next question around challenges or blocks that you have experienced with creativity. I wonder if you might share a couple blocks or challenges, and then how you navigate them.
Sure. Within 2020 alone, I have had a million ebbs and flows of those waves because I have been, and we all have been, completely responsible for our own schedules for the first time, especially as performers, where we go, oh my God, no one is telling me where to go or where to stand or when to be here, or what my call time is. I have my day free, and I'm either going to sit here and sulk about it, or I'm going to have to fill my schedule. And there are two extremes that I've gone through where you lay there and you go, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. And then there's the other extreme where you're like, I have overbooked myself and I am doing way too much. And I've coached people through that this whole time. And it's such a buzzy, cliche, trope word to say pivoting, but it's this time, especially the way I've navigated these ups and downs of either being in a frenzy, trying to feel like I'm accomplishing and achieving in 2020. Because literally, my husband and I chose a word this year. What's our word for 2020? And guess what word we chose? Achieving. And how the hell are you supposed to achieve anything this year? What? Thanks, universe. Thanks for the challenge, right? And then there's the other extreme where you can get so beaten down, you go, you've accidentally put your worth in what you do or what you've accomplished, and you just completely paralyze yourself with fear and self-doubt and failure, and you just lay there and you go, I haven't worked out in a month. I hate myself. There's no reason to keep going. My career is dead. And it's constantly having to reevaluate, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, and then just do, I like to just say, do one thing that sparks joy for you that day. Do one act of self-care or self-love for yourself, even if you don't feel it, even if your heart's not in it. Just do it, and then your subconscious is going to start to get on board and go, oh, that felt good. Oh, I do like myself. Or it's enough to tell your brain to say, stop talking shit about yourself.
Yeah.
Get it together. That's not helping. And your worth is not defined in your to-do list. Your worth is not defined by your tasks. You are a great person. You have a lot to offer. And it's constantly coming back to that place of being like, everything is fine. Everything is temporary. And I got this. And we've had to do so much of that in 2020. And it's hard. And it's tiring because you feel like you're spinning your wheels, or it would be lovely to have someone just tell you where to stand and what to do and when to be where.
Right.
But it looks like that may or may not be happening soon. So it's just constantly being graceful with yourself and navigating the time, taking each day as it comes and just looking at it and go, what do I need to do for me today? What does that look like? And it's going to look different almost every day here in 2020. It's going to look different.
Absolutely. I love all of those ideas of just taking that step back, but giving yourself some space to not overdo your to-do list, or that it's okay if everything doesn't get accomplished. It's not about accomplishing, it's about being. And how do we keep showing up even when it's hard, even when it's scary, even when we don't know what the future holds? How can we still find those moments of joy that keep us putting one foot in front of the other and continuing to move forward, even in a year like 2020?
Right. Because honestly, think about it. Imagine your future self and imagine everything that you got done this year. You're not going to want to have traded this year, even if it was a total bitch.
Right.
You learned a lot. You grew a lot. You changed a lot. You needed it. For whatever reason, we all needed it for different reasons. And you don't have to see the forest through the trees right now. It's not going to be clear to you in this moment, but it will come and you'll go, well, damn.
Yeah.
The universe did know what it was doing. Thanks, God.
Thanks, universe. Thank you for showing up. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, good on you. You knew a lot more than I did. Just admit that you don't know, that you don't have the answers, and the pressure's off. And you'd be like, My husband likes to say, he says, I'm a fart in the wind. I'm
There you go.
going with whatever. And I'm like, of course, that's his take. Very profound.
and so true.
But not wrong.
Right,
Not wrong.
not wrong. I love it. I think it's important to also find the humor, find, along with the silver lining for the challenges that we've faced, where's the humor in it as well,
Yeah.
and the nuggets of fun and excitement, even with the pile of shit.
Yes. When we cannot cry, we must laugh. Yes.
That is true. Yes.
Yes. We must. And don't take it seriously or personally.
Yes.
Life is not trying to pull the rug out from under you, but it will keep serving you the same lessons until you get wise.
So true. Oh my gosh, that's so true. My mother says the universe gives you different versions of the same experience, and sometimes you need the toilet water version to get the lesson.
Yes. Yeah.
So.
Yep. Oh my God. There's nothing I agree with more. And if a little subtle hint in your brain's not enough, it's going to manifest in your spirit or your surroundings. And if that's not enough, your body's going to shut down. You're going to physically hurt yourself. And then you go, oh, okay, I got the note that I need to take some time and care for myself. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love that even through all the challenges, we're still able to find the grace and the humor and make it through to another day. It's so important.
Yeah. So that's a very vague general obstacle, just the obstacle that is 2020.
Yeah.
That's my most recent example. Of course, there are many career setbacks or when you feel like you got rejected, but all of them have the same. You go through the stages of grief, and the faster you go through them, the faster you can pick yourself up and get back on the horse. So
Yeah.
that's how I navigate.
Great. Yeah. And I think many people do. And some people, it's a very different strategy to get to the same end result. And that works for them. So I appreciate hearing everyone's story about what works for them. And I think it's really important because something that works for you, someone else might try and think, oh, yeah, wow, that's exactly what helped me and supported me. So that's part of asking the questions and sharing the answers and getting the information out there for other people to hear.
Yeah. And I think even the best one, if I could say one thing one tangible activity that people could do to rally themselves and to get their strength back, even when you don't want to, and it sounds so very Oprah, Deepak Chopra-esque, but it's just being grateful, even if it's something stupid. If you write, and it's actually an activity that we do with the Paradox Process, if you write down 3 things in the morning that you're grateful for, and then you marinate on those in such a way that you feel the feelings, like it's almost like writing down, you can also write down your list of wins in your life if you're feeling like a failure, getting my diploma, and you just let the feeling wash over you, that feeling of success, relief, accomplishment. That's going to carry you through the day. That's going to sow the seeds of goodwill. So same thing with gratitude. If you're like, I'm grateful for my cat because she's fluffy, and then you just picture it and you feel it, and then it's going to create this warmth and this happiness and this love. And it's so simple. I'm grateful for a rainy day when I don't have to get out of bed, whatever it is. If your life sucks, one little nugget of gratitude, and it's going to start chipping away at that cynical negative voice. It's going to start chipping away and reboosting your mood and helping you get through the challenging, creatively stagnant time that this, can be. So
Absolutely. Yeah. And hearing you talk about all of these things, that these skills and tools that you use, and your sister, and I am so curious, when you think about that kind of being younger or a child, what is your earliest memory of being creative?
Well, probably immediately, and I probably don't remember it. There's a funny story actually that my sister's best friend from high school literally told the whole Facebook world the other day because it was my birthday. And she was like, my earliest memory of Theresa, she was 4 years old and we were sitting at a Friendly's after a dance recital, and she began to make up a song about a girl on the playground And it went something like, she was sweating like a pig running around that place. And I was like on the table, full voice, just belting about this girl who was apparently sweating like a pig. And I'm like 4, like coming up with these like eloquent turns of like sweating like a pig. What 4-year-old is like, this seems like a good descriptive.
Probably heard it somewhere.
I heard it all. So, constant entertainment for my family and a constant creative. I was begging to be in dance at the age of 3. They didn't take anyone as young as me, but they were forced to accept me. So, I mean, really, my earliest, it's always been there.
Yeah.
If there's ever any doubt or anyone was ever critical of my mother saying that she pushed me into the field, they are sorely mistaken because they did not have to live with me. We have video proof that on VHS that I was a total nightmare of ball of performing energy that just has never gone out. So never quenched the thirst. Always had the bug, always wanted to perform, always wanted to be creative. Yeah.
I love it. Mom was just following your lead.
Oh, everybody was just watching, like, where did she come from? She is not blood relation. So, yeah.
That's amazing. I feel a kindred spirit with you, the performing, always performing something. Yep. That was me as well as a child.
Yeah.
So.
That's what I love. I loved when I found out that you had a psychology degree, because I was like, obviously something about this goes hand in hand. I mean, it's a platform. You're performing in a way. You're putting a version of yourself forth to help these people. Yeah. And it's a very sort of obviously intimate setting, but it fulfills something intangible very similarly to performing. And I can't really put my finger on exactly what it is, but it does kind of fill that need to, and maybe it's just me wanting to people to sort of heed what I say and pay attention to me, but it is gratifying.
It is, and there's a sweetness to it, that there is such intimacy in that therapeutic process and therapeutic relationship that is different than performing.
Very, yeah.
And you're right, there is some aspect, some fuel to getting to have undivided attention.
Yeah, it might be very selfish motives that way, if we're being completely honest with ourselves, that we got someone's attention and we were able to exact a change for them. And not that we're, oops, sorry, my computer beeped. Not that we're to give advice at all, but to almost sort of feel like they listened to us and they're changing, and you're like, yay, I did it. It's not really you. They're having these revelations themselves, but it still feels good in that way. Yeah. And it's much deeper than it's much, performing is more shallow. That's all there is to it. It is.
There's deepness to it as well, but I think you're right. There is that, it's different and similar when you kind of break it down, and there is that aspect of attention on you, whether you are, a therapist speaking to a client or a performer sharing something with an audience member. There is that give and take that's talking and listening. Literally what you learn in acting school.
It's an exchange of energy in both counts. Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Some, people's lives have been changed by a performance. So that's true, so they are, I guess they are, performing doesn't have to be shallow, but it does feel a little more like a selfish thing sometimes, because you're like, thank you, I nailed it. Right. But they both feel that way a little bit.
Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with being proud of yourself for showing up in that capacity and giving a fucking awesome show to someone. And I think that is just as, important. And
there ain't nothing wrong, because not enough people are tooting their own horns. Everybody's
so
out
true.
there talking shit at themselves. So no, everybody be proud of yourself. I wish everyone was more proud of themselves. So
exactly. Well, I hear so much inspiration from the things that you do in your life, in friends and family. But when you think about today, or now in your life, who or what inspires you?
Ooh, do I go philosophical or do I go literal? Who do I like right now? Who inspires me? Man, I mean, listen, Thomas, who created the paradox process, has kind of become my personal mentor, and like he's who I look up to in terms of this being my focus right now. Also, I do direct sales for the body shop.
Oh,
For fun as a little work from home hustle. And I've always enjoyed sales because, again, sort of another sort of performance-y platform. Actors are natural salespeople, but now instead of selling myself, I'm selling body butter. My friend Kelly, who is sort of my manager position in that direct sales world, she is a hustling, amazing wife, friend, the most empathetic, the most compassionate, the most selfless. In fact, I'm trying to get her to be more selfish so that she, thinks of herself too instead of everyone else first.
yeah.
But I'm like, you can't help people if you're empty, Kelly. But I'd say the way that they impact people when they walk into a room, the field of positive energy that follows them is inspiring, and what I hope to do. I want people, when I work with them or walk into a room with them, they feel supported and hopeful and inspired and positive, and like they too can achieve what they set out to do. Just I'd say right now those two people are the people who are the most impressive to me, and how they manage other people and juggle their own life, and how they're just crushing it every day. Essentially, they're just crushing it. They're crushing the game. Thomas is killing it. He's amazing. He's magic. I don't know how he does what he does. I think he's psychic. There's been rumors. I think he's a little psychic, honestly. That sounds woo-woo, but I literally think he's got a little extra sense gift.
We all have that intuition. It's whether we trust it or not.
It is loud, and he trusts it, and it's impressive when you go,
perfect.
Okay, I didn't know you were going to put a date on that for me, but thank you. And you were right. Get out of my head. And then Kelly, she's a gem. She's just a gem of a human. And no matter what she's going through, I told her, I said, you need to talk more to people about that you're also having a hard day if you're having a hard time, because there are people who want to help you the way that you help everybody else. It's always the givers who don't want to ask.
Right. But what a great reminder to say there are people who want to help you. You need to let us know when you're ready for it, when you need it, when you want it, because we're here.
Yeah. Yeah. But I want to be more like that. And they're inspiring for sure. They're great people. Yeah.
I love it. I love that. I love hearing who is inspiring or what inspires people, because it inspires me to hear that and how other people get inspired and the things that they, spin off with about how
gratifying is the podcast. I feel like that would be so,
it's amazing.
Very fulfilling.
It is. And it's so much fun. I meet incredible people and have really intimate conversations with them.
With strangers,
essentially strangers. And some people I do know really well, but most of the time I don't. I have, met them through other people or on, pod matching systems. And
oh, cool. I didn't even know those existed.
They do. It's a very new platform. So that's kind of fun. And I love hearing people's stories, and I love talking to people, and I love talking about creativity and sharing my ideas and tips and tools and skills with as many people as possible. Because I think we're all creative, no matter what we do, no matter where we come from, we have the ability to flex that creativity muscle and even incorporate it more into our lives. So
even if you're working in a cubicle, you can do it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
It's a great language to teach people to understand. And I like that you're doing that. I think that's really unique and interesting. I don't know anyone else who's doing that. I don't think Gwyneth Paltrow's even found someone on Goop who's doing it. She needs to hear about you, girl.
Thank you.
Yes, Gwyneth.
Happily chat
Where
with her.
Are you? Yeah.
I know. That's amazing though. I mean, the podcasting world is such a niche space and my topic is not for everyone, and that's totally fine. But I think it's a
Even though
great
it secretly
platform.
is.
It is.
They don't
And
know. They're not ready to receive it, girl. They
it's
don't know.
true. It's true. So,
Yep.
but when I think about like creativity and our lives and how we, walk in and out of different communities, we have different collections of people who are our community. When
Yep.
you think of your community, how do they impact or influence your creativity?
I feel like, as someone who has so many hands, I have two hands, but they're in many pots.
Yes.
I feel like I have like when you were saying that, like three sects of creative friends, that all give me, I must require much because they all give me something different. I have my performer friends, and they're also largely my clients. Because obviously performers have issues. We got to work through them.
Yeah.
And so I have them, and they're my like fun loving creative. You spoke to my best friend Megan on one of your podcasts, and they give me that like summer camp buddy best friend for life thing. And then I have this inspiring tribe, for lack of a better word, so cliche, but like an inspiring like tribe of women in like my sales community who are like really filling some sort of like weird void I didn't know I had in terms of like being entrepreneurial boss babes. Cause I realized I used to like get jealous. I would like look on Instagram and I'd be like, this fitness bitch. I'd be like, screw you and your fake abs and your filtered tan, and then I'd be like, why am I mad about that? I took like a little look at myself. I'm like, because I actually want to like present as that, like not fake though, a little more authentic, but like that's what I wanted to be I want to be in charge of my own life. And I've always, when I look at it, I've always wanted that. And these women are doing it. And I'm like, you're inspiring. You're doing it. I can do it,
Yeah.
And then there's my new community of my newest friends in sort of this paradox process, therapeutic self-help realm, which is my newest one. And I'm sort of feeling them out and finding my place among them as, hopefully next year I join the team of facilitators and see where they certainly fulfill me in terms of their incredible breadth of knowledge. Most of them do have masters in psychology and everything. And so I'm, again, inspired by them in a different way. And they sort of fill that more than creative, like just the thirst for knowledge and understanding how people work and what makes them tick, and just being so intuitive and insightful, and like, without getting woo woo, but like their ability to be present and to just kind of, be clear about things. So all those things together creatively fulfill me. When you put them together, they all fulfill the things that I need to feel like I'm, I don't want to say successful, but to feel like I'm filling my emotional reserves up with all the things I need to feel motivated and to thrive.
Nice. Yeah. And it sounds like they really impact your creativity and influence it, and are a huge part of your support system, your cheering section, and that you are that for them as well.
I hope so. Yeah. And I believe like, we, especially in this year, it's so easy to cut yourself off from people. And I know a lot of people have had very like heartbreaking, like sort of friend breakups because they realize they're like one-sided and doing one thing. But I think you just got to make sure that you keep yourself open to a lot of different avenues, a lot of different opportunities, and a lot of different people, especially as we're not all physically together, because everybody's going to teach you something. And I was so excited to do this because I'm excited to learn things too. And like you said, you learn something, and just interacting with different people all the time. just doing that, like everybody can look at their life and say, am I interacting with enough people right now in 2020? Is that why I'm stagnant? If I just like close myself off like a
Mhm.
little hermit crab, like am I like living alone in a shell? Or maybe you just need some mental stimulation in interacting with some new and different people, or trying. That's why so many people were so inspired to try a different hobby. But it's the same thing with friendships. Try a new friend,
Yeah.
you know, see what they have to offer you. They're going to have a lesson for you,
Mhm.
or, they're going to teach you something about yourself. So,
Yeah, I think
yeah.
that's a really incredible perspective or way to look at the challenges of like, I'm going to learn something from this experience, from trying something new, from putting myself out there and being open and willing to learn from it or
Yeah.
to grow and to seek that. And I don't think that's for everyone, and that's totally fine.
No.
But
And you
I
don't have to
think,
do 20, just one person.
yeah,
Meet someone new.
right. Try
You don't have
something new, a new recipe or a new something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Absolutely. Well, it has been such a pleasure chatting with
Good.
you. And I have one more question for you.
Tell me, girl.
What is your secret to creativity?
Obviously. my personal recipe and secret, that, as you said, is maybe not for everyone, is constantly reinventing myself and trying something different. My
Mm,
husband is always totally overwhelmed by all the things I'm doing, and I have
mhm,
to remind him, this is my journey, not yours. You don't have to take on my schedule in your mind.
mhm.
He is a one track mind guy. He is a performer, and that is it. He can't imagine doing anything else, and he can't imagine his life without it. So,
Mhm.
um, but like we just said, trying something new, you don't have to do it all the time. If you did one new thing this year, you did great. I wanted to be better at French. So the first thing I did in quarantine was get Duolingo and try to,
Oh my
keep.
gosh, me too. I'm doing
I
French
love it.
there too.
Yes, queen. Oh my god, Diamond League forever. Uh,
Oh.
so yeah, um, but just the first thing to, in my opinion, for me, what I do is just the first thing to keep myself creative is to just tap in to what I need on, like I said, any given day,
Mhm.
and care for myself that way and trust that the rest will follow. And if what you're doing is not sparking joy for you, you need to take a good hard look at yourself and realize that maybe it's not what you're supposed to be doing. And kind of performing, I saw in your bio that you take breaks.
Mhm.
And I kind of was like really grinding it out, really all 12 months a year, just always on, and it's draining. And I equate it to feeling like a washcloth in the shower that got dried out. That's us. That
Mhm.
if you don't care for yourself and you don't nurture yourself, and it's hard to say, I'm always going to be a performer, but right now I need a break. And most people won't admit that to themselves with whatever they're doing. They
Yeah.
won't give themselves a break. You are completely within your rights to take a step back and to say, I need to take a break.
Mhm.
Um, that's the first thing. Otherwise, your creativity is going to be dead, and you're going to be a robot, and you're going to be that dried out, shriveled washcloth in the shower. Like they just wrung you out, took everything they could, and they ran, and you have nothing
Left.
left. You have nothing left to give. So the only way you can get that back, you got to give it to yourself first. You got to give yourself the love and the self-care that you, even if you don't think you deserve it, but
Mhm.
you do. Everybody deserves it. This is for everyone listening. The love and respect that you deserve, give it to yourself first. The rest will follow. Your creative juices will come back. You will feel like yourself again. This is temporary. That's what I do.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love the reminders. I love all the tips and tools. And thank you so much for taking the
Oh
time.
my gosh. Thank you. This was lovely.
And if
It
people
was
want,
good speech to myself.
oh, good reminders. I know I love when that happens. And if people wanted to learn more about the things that you're doing or get in touch with you, how would they go about doing that?
Listen, just listen. Here's the thing. Um, you can, first of all, if you want to learn more about the paradox process, just look up paradoxprocess.org, or I gave you my Instagram handle. So They can just Instagram message me if they wanted. I'd lead a free group every week for people to drop in and check it out, what it's about. And was there another question? There was something else you said about
anything where they, I have all your websites for makeup and social media. We'll put those in the show notes, but if you have any upcoming things that you wanted to share with anyone.
I mean, just literally, if you're looking for an alternative therapeutic modality, that's the next thing. And right now my sessions and my little group classes are free. I want to serve the community by helping people navigate 2020 in the most gracious way possible, by self-caring, just like you're doing. So if anyone at all is interested, just message me, Facebook, Instagram, whatever, and we'll put you in the class. It's free. It's free 99, and they can just jump in and see if it's something they like, and we'll get you hooked up with some of the tools as you are doing tips and tricks to help manage challenges as they come. So that is what's up and coming. I'm trying to build my practice so I can hit the ground running in God love it 2021, a better year than 2020.
Well, again, thank you. It was so lovely to chat with you, and
you too. Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Thanks for listening to the Sustaining Creativity Podcast. We'd love to keep in touch, so like us on Facebook and Instagram. We are Sustaining Creativity. Make sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Tag your friends and your family so they can listen too. We love to hear from you, so leave your comments, reviews, and questions. Tune in Tuesdays for a new episode. And remember, with creativity, anything's possible.